Imagine a dark, rain-slicked street in central Seoul. It's late at night, the city is mostly quiet, but suddenly that quiet is just shattered by the relentless, blinding flash of press cameras. You know, the flash bulbs erupt, the fandom goes completely silent.
Right.
And in an instant, the entire K-pop world is turned upside down. A global icon, a man known for a flawless reputation, steps out of a police station, bows his head to the flashing lights, and admits to a shocking mistake.
It really was shocking.
Right. But what happens when a single mistake on a scooter exposes a fatal flaw in a billion-dollar industry, fractures a global fandom, and, accidentally changes national law? Welcome to StarScope K-Report.
That's going to be a big one.
Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Halley wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
It is so fantastic to be diving into this one today because the story we are looking at is truly one for the history books. I mean, we're looking at a collision of pop culture and the legal system that literally nobody saw coming.
Exactly. Today, our mission on this deep dive centers on a headline that absolutely rocked the industry. They finally interrogated him. The truth is out.
Right.
We're unpacking the BTS Suga DUI scandal. But we aren't just looking at the police report.
Right. There's so much more.
Yeah, we're analyzing his agency's disastrous mishandling of the fallout, the intense, unprecedented civil war it sparked within the fandom, and the broader Korean legal crisis it accidentally exposed. So, okay, let's unpack this. To understand the sheer gravity of that interrogation scene, we have to rewind to the inciting incident on the night of August 6th, stretching into the early hours of the 7th.
Yeah, and the location is key here, too. Suga, real name, Min Yoongi, who is 31 years old, was found by police after falling off an electric scooter near his residence in Handwritten.
Right.
And for those who don't know, Handwritten is in the Yongsan district of Seoul. It's an incredibly affluent, heavily patrolled area. If you fall over in the street there, you're going to be noticed.
And then noticed he was. And the initial detail that completely shocked the public and frankly changed the entire trajectory of this story was his blood alcohol concentration.
Oh, man.
Yeah, his BAC was measured at 0.227%. To put that into perspective, the legal threshold for having your license revoked in South Korea is 0.08%.
Right.
So he wasn't just, slightly over the line.
Not at all. Like at 0.08%, your reaction time is slowed. But at 0.227%, we need to talk about the physical reality of what that means for a human body. That level of intoxication typically involves severe motor impairment, confusion, and complete inability to balance. You would struggle to walk straight, let alone operate a moving vehicle on a public road. It is a massive, dangerous amount of alcohol.
Which makes the initial response from his agency so completely baffling. Like when the news first broke, BigHit Music and Suga released statements that used the term electric kickboard.
Right.
And that specific phrasing implies one of those little stand-up toy scooters you see scattered on city sidewalks. They also stated that his license had been revoked and a fine was paid.
Yeah, basically tried to tie a neat little bow on it immediately.
Exactly.
The phrasing made it sound like a minor municipal infraction that was already fully resolved. Like, I made a mistake, the police gave me a ticket, case closed.
Wait, hold on, though. HYBE and BigHit are a billion-dollar conglomerate.
Yeah.
They have entire floors dedicated to crisis management and PR. How on earth do they release a statement calling it a kickboard and declaring the case closed without looking at the CCTV footage first? I mean, that seems like PR 101.
It does seem like a rookie mistake, but you have to look at the internal mechanics of the K-pop machine. When your biggest star gets involved in a police matter, especially a member of BTS, who are currently on hiatus but building towards a highly anticipated 2025 comeback, the instinct is just total panic.
Right, because investors are watching.
Exactly. The stock price is volatile. The PR team mandate is to control the narrative instantly, often before all the facts are legally confirmed. So they gambled on a fast, minimized apology.
And they lost that gamble spectacularly because in K-pop, the netizens are always faster. Like within hours, CCTV footage surfaced.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to explain how this happens because if you aren't familiar with Korean internet culture, it seems like magic.
It really does.
Yeah, Seoul is covered in security cameras. But more importantly, almost every single car has a black box dash cam recording 24/7. So netizens on forums like the Quo and Pan basically form ad hoc detective agencies, pulling dashcam footage from the area.
Right, and the footage they pulled completely contradicted the agency's narrative. It wasn't a stand-up kickboard at all. It was a seated electric scooter, a model capable of reaching speeds of 30 kilometers per hour. And legally, under Korean law, that classifies it not as a simple kickboard, but as a motor scooter.
Wow.
Essentially a motorcycle.
And the penalties for drunk driving a motorcycle are entirely different and much more severe. So suddenly the agency doesn't just look sloppy, they look like they are actively trying to orchestrate a cover-up.
Right.
By August 8th, they had to issue a deeply humiliating second apology just to walk back the misinformation from their first statement, claiming it was due to, quote, internal communication errors.
And that fumble is what set the stage for the intense media circus that followed. Because the public felt lied to, the police had no choice but to escalate the visibility of the investigation. Which brings us to August 23rd at the Yongsan police station.
Right.
17 days after the incident, Suga finally appears for official questioning.
The visuals were incredibly cinematic and grim. It was a grueling 3-hour police interrogation. Seeing him step out, looking visibly exhausted, bowing deeply to the cameras, he told the reporters, "I am very sorry to have disappointed everyone with my wrongdoing."
Yeah, and that public bowing ceremony is a very specific ritual in Korean scandal culture. It's an act of profound submission to the public. And he followed it up 2 days later on August 25th with a handwritten apology posted to Weverse, which is HYBE's proprietary app for direct artist-to-fan communication.
Right. The handwritten letters are a big deal.
Huge deal. This wasn't a typed corporate statement. He wrote about his deep shame, stating he made a grave mistake. But the line that really struck a nerve was his apology for tarnishing BTS' name and leaving a large blemish on the precious memories he made with his members and fans.
Wow. You know, that deep bow outside the police station was supposed to put the fire out. But because the agency had fumbled the facts about the scooter for 17 days, the public felt manipulated. And that lingering feeling of manipulation is exactly what sparked an absolute war within the fandom itself.
Oh, completely.
And that's not even the wildest part of this controversy. Wait until you hear how international fans mobilized. Stay tuned. But hey, if you love staying updated on your favorites and getting the real facts behind the headlines, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K-Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead.
Yes, definitely subscribe.
So, okay, let's talk about this fandom civil war. The agency's bungling combined with the severity of that 0.227% BAC level created a perfect storm.
It really did.
Here's where it gets really interesting. It effectively fractured the world's most unified fandom right down the middle, entirely along cultural lines. On one side, you have the domestic Korean netizens, the Knetz. Their reaction was just absolute fury.
Yeah, and fury almost feels like too small a word.
Right.
In South Korea, drunk driving is culturally viewed as an incredibly severe crime. Pop culture critic Young Hyun pointed out that domestically, it's often equated with premeditated murder.
Wow.
The logic is that when you choose to drive drunk, you are choosing to put a loaded gun in your hand. The public tolerance is practically zero.
And we saw this manifest physically, right? Like, Knetz set up protest wreaths, these massive, towering, funeral-style floral arrangements lined up on the streets of Seoul outside the agency, explicitly demanding that Suga leave the group.
It's intense.
It is. The sentiment was that he had permanently damaged the group's reputation. It reminds me of this analogy. K-pop idols are treated as glass sculptures by the Korean media and domestic fans. They are crafted to be breathtakingly beautiful, perfect visuals, completely flawless.
Right.
But if there is a single crack, a single mistake off stage, the whole sculpture is considered shattered and worthless. Whereas Western fans treat celebrities more like star athletes.
That's a good comparison.
If a basketball player gets a DUI off the court, they get suspended, they pay a fine, but eventually the fans forgive them and want them back in the game.
What's fascinating here is I really like the glass sculpture analogy, but let's take a step further. In Korea, the media and the public are the ones actively holding the hammer, ready to smash it.
Oh, that's a great point.
Right. The expectation of moral perfection is absolute. But then you look at the international fan reaction, and it's a stark 180-degree difference. While Knetz were sending funeral wreaths, 127 BTS fan organizations from 58 different countries released a joint statement showing unwavering support for all 7 members.
Wow, 58 countries.
Yeah. Their stance was highly pragmatic. He broke the law, he pays the legal penalty, end of story.
Right. The international chorus was basically, no one got hurt, he fell over while parking, let the man live. It's such a fundamental clash of expectations.
It is. And academic experts actually point to a deep cultural conditioning here. Professor Siderbo Tisaji from Pusan National University noted that in Korea, stars are expected to function as a societal moral compass. The media uses idols to demonstrate to the public how people should and shouldn't act. They aren't just entertainers, they are role models by mandate.
Right.
Meanwhile, Professor Grace Kao from Yale University pointed out that American fans felt this crime was less serious, precisely because there was no victim. The Western legal and moral framework heavily weights the actual outcome of a crime, whereas the Korean framework heavily weights the potential danger and the moral failing of the choice itself.
That makes a lot of sense. But if you're listening to this in the US or Europe, you might be thinking, he fell off a scooter going maybe 18 miles an hour. Why did this turn into a massive, dark, toxic internet war?
Yeah.
To understand the fierce, almost militant defense from international fans, you have to look at the tragic precedent set just months prior.
Yes, you have to understand the trauma the fandom was carrying. In December 2023, the beloved A-list actor Lee Sun-kan, who many know worldwide from the movie Parasite, tragically died by suicide after being hounded relentlessly by the Korean media and public over alleged drug use. It was a media circus that completely destroyed his life before he even had his day in court. International fans saw the media circus surrounding Suga's DUI, the flashbulbs, the public shaming rituals, and they hit a panic button. They were terrified for his mental health.
I understand the fear, but that panic unfortunately turned into hostility against anyone they felt was criticizing him. It became an echo chamber. Culture critic Jung Min-jae just gave a standard professional quote analyzing the situation, and he was immediately targeted.
It was bad.
Yeah, international fans were trying to hack his social media accounts, calling his personal phone, trying to silence him. It just shows how dangerous this cultural divide became.
The cultural divide is fascinating, but while the fandoms battled it out online and analysts were getting hacked, the actual legal hammer was waiting to drop. And it exposed a massive, deadly blind spot in Korean law that nobody saw coming.
Okay.
But before we reveal exactly what that legal blind spot is, these deep dives take us from chart-topping music to the real-world laws shaping Korea. So hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update.
So the internet is at war, but what did the actual judge say?
Well, after all the internet noise, this had to be settled in a real court of law. On September 30th, Judge Lee Yusib of the Seoul Western District Court handed down a summary judgment. Suga was fined 15 million won, which is roughly $11,468.
Let's break down what a summary judgment actually means here. Why did the judge just skip a trial?
So in the Korean legal system, a summary judgment is used for minor offenses where the facts are indisputable and the defendant admits fault. Because the police had the BAC test results and the CCTV footage, and Suga admitted to the events, there was no factual dispute to argue in front of a jury or in a full trial setting.
Oh, okay.
It saves the court time and resources. A fine is issued, though the defendant legally has 7 days to request a full trial if they feel the fine is unjust. Suga accepted it.
Right. And we also have to address his military status, because that was a huge point of contention for Knetz, who thought he should face court-martial.
Oh, yeah.
Suga has been serving as a social service agent since September 2023 and will be until his discharge in June 2025.
And the Military Manpower Administration actually had to step in and clarify this publicly. They confirmed there would be no military penalty for this incident.
Really?
Yeah, the reason is purely jurisdictional. It happened completely outside of his working hours. Because he was off-duty, he is treated as a civilian under civil law, not military law.
Okay, so the legal penalty for Suga individually is settled. A 15 million won fine and a revoked license. But this is where the story pivots from a celebrity scandal to a nationwide crisis.
Right.
Because his arrest suddenly put a massive spotlight on South Korea's personal mobility or PM device crisis.
Yeah.
E-scooters have become an absolute epidemic on the streets of Korea, and frankly, a deadly one.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to translate the data into reality because the numbers are terrifying. According to the Korea Transportation Safety Authority, there has been a 20-fold increase in e-scooter accidents since 2017.
A 20-fold increase.
A 20-fold increase. The government tried to intervene in 2021 by making helmets mandatory by law, but it's completely ignored. Only 15.1% of riders actually wear them.
Why is it so ignored? Is it just completely unenforced?
It's an enforcement issue, but mostly it's a penalty issue. The fine for not wearing a helmet is only about 20,000 won. That's roughly $15 US.
Wow.
It's as cheaper than a decent meal in Gangnam. It does absolutely nothing to deter anyone. And these scooters are everywhere. People abandon them on sidewalks, blocking subway entrances, creating tripping hazards for the elderly and visually impaired.
But the real danger is the riding itself, right? Like, the death rate for accidents involving these PM devices is 5.6%. Compare that to the 1.3% death rate for all other types of vehicles.
It's staggering.
Yeah, you are more than 4 times as likely to die in a scooter accident than a car crash. And it's not just the riders getting hurt. Pedestrians are in extreme danger.
The sources provided a truly heartbreaking example of this that illustrates just how broken the system is. In Goyang, a husband and wife in their 60s were just enjoying an evening walk by a lake park. They were struck from behind by an e-scooter.
Oh, gosh.
And the scooter was being ridden by 2 high school students sharing a single device.
Yeah.
Neither of them had a license. The wife sustained severe head injuries and tragically passed away 9 days later.
That is awful. But wait, how are unlicensed high schoolers even renting these things? I thought you needed a driver's license to unlock the app.
You are supposed to. But the apps have notoriously weak physical verification. Teenagers easily bypass the age restrictions by using their parents' registration numbers or driver's licenses. The app doesn't know who is actually standing on the scooter.
Right.
In 2023 alone, police recorded over 20,000 cases of teenagers riding without licenses. It's a total free-for-all. In another incident in Ukshan County, middle school students were riding an e-scooter in the middle of a busy road, crashed into a car, and one student died.
That is just tragic. So we have a nationwide epidemic of injuries, fatalities, and teenagers bypassing the law. Yet, it took a BTS member getting arrested for the government to finally take it seriously. So what does this all mean? Did Suga DUI actually save lives?
It's a tragic irony, but yeah, his level of fame is what finally tipped the scales for public awareness and swift government action. Because of the sheer volume of global media coverage Suga's case received over those few weeks, the general public suddenly woke up to the specific laws surrounding these devices.
Right.
Before this scandal, many citizens genuinely didn't even realize riding an e-scooter drunk was a criminal offense, or that you couldn't legally ride them in the middle of a vehicle lane.
And now the government is finally scrambling to fix the blind spot. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, and Transport announced urgent trials to cap e-scooter speeds at 20 kilometers per hour in major cities, stepping it down from 25.
And the rental companies are feeling the heat, too.
Yeah.
Major operators like Swing and GCO are suddenly implementing much stricter safety measures. Swing is finally enforcing actual license registrations for minors, closing that loophole. And GCOO is actively installing physical helmet storage boxes on their scooters so riders can't use the excuse that they didn't have one.
It goes to show that the Hallyu Wave isn't just exporting music and K-dramas. Like, the ripples of these idols' actions bounce back and actively reshape the infrastructure and the laws of their own country.
Which brings us to a lingering philosophical question that I think we all need to mull over as we watch the K-pop industry continue its explosive global expansion.
Yeah.
Suga has apologized, the fine is paid, the scooter laws in Korea are tightening. But looking forward to the eventual BTS reunion in 2025 and beyond, will the Korean entertainment industry adapt to the more forgiving human expectations of their massive international fan base? Or will the crushing domestic demand for flawless, scandal-free idols remain the ultimate law of the land? It airs a cultural tug-of-war, and it's something to watch very closely as the Hallyu Wave rolls on.
You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu Wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.